Minasan konnichiwa. Welcome to the Board Game Dojo's Import or Not series, where we take a look at games from Asia and let you know if they're worth your hard-earned money to import or not. Today we are kicking off our 2024 coverage looking at a game that we've already actually answered the question of import or not with a resounding import. Ito, a game that we've probably put on so many lists that I think some of our viewers who've watched all of our videos are probably tired of us talking about it. But wait, don't leave the channel yet, because today we are instead talking about Ito's sequel, Ito Rainbow. And instead of asking the question of, well, should we import or not, we're going to ask two different questions. One, if you're new on your Ito journey, which version should you get, the original or the sequel? And the second question being, well, if I already own the original Ito, do I need to get this one? Let's answer those two questions on today's Import or Not. This is Ito Rainbow. To begin, place the 0 card in the middle of the table, and every player can then pick crystals in their own player color. Everybody will be able to grab these crystals and then deal out a card to each player so that everybody has crystals and a card in front of them. Then, before picking a topic card, everybody will take a look at the number card that's in front of them and secretly look at it. The higher the number on the card, then the more or better of something. The lower, then less of something, like this 18 card here. After everybody has taken a look at their card, you'll then take a card off the stack of 20 cards and take a look at the 3 topics that are on the card. You can then choose which one you want to pick, and I vote for the top one, which is the more or less nostalgic items, like a scrapbook perhaps. Everybody in any order can then give a clue as to how high or low their value is and put their card in the middle with their crystal denoting which card. You as a group can then arrange and rearrange as many times as you want until everybody says, okay, we are confident. You can then flip over the cards one at a time and see if you got it in order from lowest to highest, starting at 0. If you were able to do it, like we did here, then you win the game of Ito. There's also a competitive mode of the game in which you'll split into 2 teams and you'll both play basically the same exact game of Ito, and then you'll compare how many mistakes each team made. As you can see, the bottom team made 0 mistakes and the top team made 1 mistake. So the bottom team wins this round. You can choose to play this in rounds or once, it's all up to you. And that's how to play Ito Rainbow. We can start off our analysis by taking a look at the Ito website and the marketing materials for Ito Rainbow. And it seems as though the designer and the marketing team seem to be in agreement of where they want the emphasis to be shifted in how we think and play Ito. First of all, it starts with the fact that they've called these rules 2.0, so let's try exploring what these rule changes mean. The first thing to take a look at is the competitive spirit, or really lack thereof, and this shows its head in 2 ways. First, in the cooperative mode, it has changed from the original Ito, which had you play in rounds and has you losing lives, and only if you can survive all 3 rounds do you get to actually win Ito. Well, it has changed that into really where you're playing 1 round. You're all going to play together. Did you actually get it right? Congratulations, you have won Ito. The second thing is in the competitive form of the game, where the original Ito had you finding a partner around the table and trying to get as close to 100 as possible, and then you would change partners and only 1 person won the competitive mode. Whereas in Ito Rainbow, you are actually just splitting up into 2 teams, playing Ito Rainbow as both of you, and whoever makes less mistakes is the winning team. So again, it's not an individual win, it is in a cooperative win somewhat. And actually that individualism brings us to the next point, and that is actually taken away the opportunities for individualism, and it changed it in favor of more camaraderie. What I mean by that is that in the original Ito, if somebody laid down an 18, for example, you really didn't have to wait for everybody else to think that you had the next card. You could just play down that card. Now, a lot of people outlawed that, and I'm not really sure what the rules actually specifically say. But it was a way that you could play it that was much more akin to the mind, which is a game that this game has often been compared to. However, in Ito Rainbow, they've made the rules so that that is not even possible, because every person is going to be playing down their cards, they're going to be putting their player crystal on it so you remember which one is whose, and everybody has to be in complete agreement with the order before you can ever flip over the card and see if you were right or not. So these slight little changes that on the surface don't seem so important have definitely done a good job in making what they call Ito 2.0, which is that emphasis towards camaraderie and less competition. But let's actually talk about the component changes, because I think that this is the point that drives it all home. First things first is that the obvious change is that there are now rainbow crystals to help you keep track of who put down what card, something that was absolutely not needed in the original Ito, but is now needed because, again, you can't flip over all of the cards until everybody has decided that you have kind of rearranged it into the right order. But the second thing that I think is really important in it is that there seems to be much more emphasis in having more discussions with the game. Maybe if you're not even playing the game, really asking questions and having good conversation around the table and with a more diverse group of people. In the original Ito, you much more often had cards and prompts that were off the wall funny, made some very funny choices, but also had sometimes where you didn't really want to ask those questions in front of your parents. But in Ito Rainbow, it not only has many more prompts, 120 to be exact, it has a better variety of prompts that go anywhere from the subtle and probably conversations that you can have with anyone, even if you're meeting them for the first time, like what is something you like to put on your burger, or where is somewhere you would like to visit, to something that can be definitely inappropriate or off the wall, or just how on earth did they come up with these questions. The variety is there so that you can have Ito in different environments and enjoy it in every single one of those. So again, with these changes, let's actually go back to our original two questions, because now that we know the difference, we need to know two things. If I don't own Ito, which is the better version for me to get? And if I already own the original Ito, do I need to get Ito Rainbow? So let's start with the people who are new to their Ito journey, and wow, am I excited for you, because I don't think you can actually make a wrong choice here. But if it were up to me, I would probably recommend you to get Ito Rainbow. First of all, it's really just a practical thing. You can play the original Ito with the components from the Ito Rainbow box, whereas you can't do that vice versa without having to use some kind of player markers or something from another game you might have laying around. The other thing is that Ito Rainbow just comes with a lot more prompts so you can play for longer. It's as available, if not more available, on sites like Amazon Japan. And finally, they both only come in Japanese, so everything else is just about even. The game itself, I think I prefer playing with the Ito Rainbow rules now, and so whether or not you play Ito Original or Ito Rainbow, I would probably recommend Ito Rainbow rules, although the challenge mode that comes in it that has you play like the Ito Original rules is welcome every once in a while for a brief change. And that's why for people that are new to Ito, I just think Ito Rainbow is probably the better bet. But for the people who already own the original Ito, well, do you need to get the new version of Ito Rainbow? And the answer for that is probably not. I would think, I think if you're somebody like me who plays Ito a lot and has seen those prompts a couple of times now, yeah, having the more prompts is definitely something very useful for you. Or if you are already shopping on Amazon Japan, or maybe you find a used copy and you're putting together a Zen Market or Buy Cart or something like that, like, yeah, throw Ito Rainbow in. Absolutely, more Ito is good Ito, for sure. But I think if you're going to ask me, like, is it worth importing by itself if I already own Ito? Then I don't really think it is. I never said it as a thing that kind of favored Ito Rainbow more than Ito for people who are new to on their Ito journey, but you can honestly find some trackers that are around your house and try out the Ito Rainbow rules for yourself before importing it. And if you like it, then just start playing Ito that way. And you can definitely do that without too much of a problem. And there's been some kind of confirmed, I don't really know how to call it, rumors where they're coming out with an English edition soon-ish. So you might be able to just wait and have a lot of these prompts that are coming out of Ito Rainbow. So in conclusion, we definitely always recommend Ito no matter what version you get. But if you're new to Ito journey, we definitely recommend you start off with Ito Rainbow, because practically it just has more prompts, it has cool components, and you can play the original Ito with the components from Ito Rainbow. But if you already own the original Ito and are saying, well, do I need to get the new version? Unless you're playing a lot of Ito like me, I don't think it's a necessity, especially because there's probably an English version that's going to come out somewhat soon-ish. Well, I hope that this has helped you on your Ito journey. If it has, please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below with what your favorite party game is. I think my friends are also getting tired of me bringing Ito to all the parties, so maybe I could use some recommendations. Well, thank you so much for watching today. Arigatou gozaimashita. Until next time, ja ne!